In using GarageBand to create a podcast, there are a few things you will need to do. First, either open up GarageBand or go to File, New, and when you do that, you'll get this interface window. From there, Create New Podcast Episode. Give it a name. For this, I will simply name it Test, and choose a location where you will save that. And I'm going to replace that one. And then you'll come to the interface for GarageBand. GarageBand consists of a number of default tracks. The podcast track will contain any still images that you would like to have displayed in your enhanced podcast. The male-female voice doesn't make any difference. These are simply two tracks that you have available for recording your own voice or whatever else you would like to record. And then Jingles is an additional track that allows you to place other audio files. It may be short little jingles or audio clips, sound effects, or longer background audio. Also, there are some other windows that we can make available. We can view the track editor. This allows us to look more closely at individual clips once we've recorded them. It also allows us to control things like our chapters and the pictures that will be displayed on those chapter markers. We can also decide what we want viewed for the entire piece if we were not to place individual clips. We would do that by dragging some artwork, some image into this location. We can get rid of this particular window if we click on the icon. If we want to see the loops that are available, we would click on it. We can only view one of these two windows at a time. So if I click on the track editor, I'll see that. If I click on the eyeball, I see the loops. If I click on the eyeball, it simply hides that existing track. The Apple loops are simply sounds, audio clips, audio files that can be used in your podcast. So there are a number of jingles that can be used. These come in a variety of different lengths and styles. There are some very short stingers, some sound effects, and then there's a favorites category that you can add to. Also, over on the right side of the interface, you'll see two other buttons or icons. The one with a little eye will provide another panel. This is where we can preview our podcast. We can also put in some episode information. We also have a media browser. If I click on that, I can connect up to any audio files I may have in my iTunes library or other locations, my iPhoto photos, and any movies I may have as a result of iMovie. So that's my media browser and my information panel. If I do not want to see either of those, click on the active icon and that window will disappear. One of the other things I may want to set up is in the GarageBand preferences. We've set up the audio input and output through the system preferences, but we can also control that here in GarageBand. So I could choose from my available audio outputs and from my available audio inputs. And I'll leave mine set at the headset. Also, under my info, I can identify what I want to use for my iTunes playlist, the name of the artist, name of the composer, and album name if I wish to do so. So I'm going to go ahead and just put in there Dr. B's, and we'll put in the artist name as Dr. Brano, composer name as Dr. Brano, and I'm not going to put any album name. And then once you get your settings, go ahead and close that window. Alright, so that's a brief review of how to use podcasts and different windows that are there and getting started.